Welcome to AQMD On the Air. I'm your host, Lior Alpern. As President and Chief Executive Officer of CALSTART, a nonprofit organization working with business, fleets, and government to develop and implement clean, efficient transportation solutions, our guest is focused on making economic and environmental improvements go hand in hand. He joined CALSTART as the Vice President of Technology Programs in 1993 and became President and CEO in 2001. He serves on the advisory board of the Precourt Energy Efficiency Center at Stanford University and is also a board member of the Clean Vehicle Foundation. John Boesel, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Lior. Happy to be here.
A good way to start is for you to give us an overview of CALSTART, your mission statement, how you started, and where you're focused these days.
CALSTART is a not-for-profit organization, and our mission in life is to build a clean transportation technology industry that is thriving and helping companies grow and create thousands of jobs. And we think if this industry is successful, we'll all benefit by having cleaner air, reduced dependence on oil, and many fewer greenhouse gas emissions, and hopefully prevent climate change. So that's our mission, and we've been at it since the early 90s. We were created when the defense and aerospace industry was in a significant downturn here in California. And we were formed as an innovative public-private partnership to help put laid-off defense and aerospace workers back to work building advanced land vehicles for the future, ones that hopefully won't create much pollution and will be much cleaner for the environment. As I mentioned, we really started during this time of economic downturn in the 90s. And there was a sense that the economy was in a tough position, and we needed something new to help jumpstart this industry and help create jobs. So it was really three key people came together to help make it happen. Number one was an entrepreneur by the name of Lon Bell, Caltech PhD, who had been successful as an entrepreneur before, and he wanted to develop an electric vehicle industry. The other key person was Mike Peavy, who was at the time the president of Southern California Edison, and he played a very key role. And the third was Congressman Howard Berman, who came in and provided some key congressional support. The organization was started with a grant from the Federal Transit Administration and also a grant from the state of California, and that's how we got going. And so we've been kind of this very dynamic and entrepreneurial public-private partnership. We don't have a guaranteed revenue stream, so it means that every year we have to go out there and figure out what we're going to do that's new and of value for the industry. We're always looking to meet new companies and develop new project ideas and to figure out how we can move forward to really help the industry.
And when there are new technologies that are looking for ways to get into the industry, could you describe a bit about where in CALSTART they will be able to turn to in order to get an evaluation of their technology and learn about grant opportunities?
Well, one of the key things we do for our member companies is we get to know them. And then once we get to know them and figure out what they're looking for, we've got a very extensive network that then we can figure out, well, who do they want to meet? How can they get connected? Who would be a good partner for them? Figure out how to fit them in. Then we're always, for our member companies, always looking for ways to help them try to find funding. Historically, we've done a great job of finding funding through government agencies like the Air District and the Federal Departments of Transportation and Defense. But recently, we've launched a new effort called the CALSTART Investor Council that is a group of various investors and bankers. And this group will be there to help provide private sector capital for these companies to grow. And I think that will be a key initiative for us going forward, is helping our companies, our member companies, get the capital they need so that they can move ahead and prosper.
One topic a lot of cities here in California are looking into is SB 375, transit-oriented development, and a lot of those last mile type of technologies and transportation and bicycle riding, et cetera, more livable communities. Could you share a bit of where CALSTART has been active in those areas?
That's a great question, because really if we're going to tackle this whole transportation challenge, we need more efficient vehicles, we need cleaner fuels, and we need ways for people to become less car dependent. So we need better transit systems. We've helped transit properties develop better bus systems that are using cleaner vehicles. But there's also been a whole suite of technologies that we've been very interested in that help give people more mobility options so that they don't have to depend on that single occupancy vehicle. One example of that is in Long Beach. We created a mobility station where people could take the train, the Red Line into Long Beach, and from there you could rent an electric bike. You could store your bike during the day, or you could even have access to an electric vehicle. So we've done a program like that. We have a program right now in the city of Pasadena where we're providing access and funding for folding bikes. So folding bikes, that technology is really improved. It's kind of a neat idea. But basically it's a bike that within about 60 to 90 seconds, you can fold the bike up. And it's sort of briefcase size. And then you can take it on to the Metro and the Gold Line. So we think that this is a great new technology. We got some public funding. So we're helping people to buy these vehicles and then test them out. And we hope that then people will be able to more effectively link bikes with train. And when they do that, then they have more mobility options. But I think this whole innovative mobility space is really exciting. And there are going to be lots of new options where people can figure out how to get around without driving their own car.
When most people think about transportation, they think about their private car. And they might have a couple cars per family, but CALSTART's focus is primarily on fleets of trucks, fleets of buses. Could you explain the benefit of that approach and the benefit to public health?
Well, actually, we want to see rapid consumer adoption of cleaner vehicles as well as fleets. So we really are working on both. But fleets we've had some very significant successes with because they are able to buy vehicles in some significant numbers. They are also able to take what's called a life cycle analysis approach. So some of these cleaner vehicles are more expensive to purchase at the beginning, but over the lifespan of the vehicle, they're actually cheaper to operate. And some of the fleets can take that approach. It's more of an analytical approach, and sometimes consumers are a little bit scared off by initially a higher price. But I think we've been able to show in many cases that this makes good sense for the fleets. And now is a very exciting time because finally a lot of these vehicles are becoming available to the consumer market, and we're seeing a lot of consumer excitement about the next generation of clean vehicles.
The economy is a major topic in the country and finding ways to recover from the economic downturn, and people are talking about green jobs. CALSTART has an association of roughly 120 companies. Could you talk a bit about where you see some of the opportunities for green jobs and then also new technology to help us with public health issues as well?
Yeah, I really think this is a big opportunity for California, and we are right in the middle of it, and we really want to see all this good work turned into solid jobs in this industry for California. There are companies in California that are developing electric vehicle components and actual products, like companies like Coda and AC Propulsion. And that's really exciting. I mean, they're going to be producing vehicles here. There are some up in Northern California, 3 different companies building electric motorcycles. And then here in Southern California, we have in Riverside a company called Eldorado National that is building hybrid natural gas and now fuel cell buses. So there are lots of really exciting opportunities. It's really important in the next, say, 2 to 5 years that consumers are taking the actions to buy these vehicles, and that also governments and fleets are also moving ahead to buy cleaner cars, trucks, and buses.
Could you tell a bit to our audience about AQMD's relationship with CALSTART? We're on your board of directors, but also how, getting back to the companies you just discussed, how AQMD with CALSTART provides the resources, funding, et cetera, to these companies to help realize some of the technology development you mentioned.
Yeah. Well, we work really not only statewide, but even nationally. And so we end up partnering with a lot of different organizations, but probably the one that we've had the longest term and most solid relationship with has been the South Coast Air Quality Management District. I think the Air District has just set a tremendous example for other regulatory agencies around the world. In terms of setting some good, tough, but reasonable regulations that, like the fleet rules, that have encouraged fleets to move ahead and adopt cleaner fuels. What you see here in Southern California with the transit bus fleet is amazing. And we've got over 6,000 natural gas buses operating as a result of air quality and Air District policy. And that's a great example of leadership that's unparalleled throughout the rest of the nation. And we have worked with the Air District to help identify projects that could help move the industry forward in a specific technology. And let me give you a good example of that is we helped get some federal funding to do various testing of various types of zero emission buses out in the Coachella Valley in the Palm Springs area. And Sunline Transit out there has been a real leader. And the Air District has been able to provide some very meaningful funding. And right now, Sunline Transit has the largest fleet of zero emission buses in Southern California. And they've been a real leader, but they couldn't have done that without the support of the Air District. And so we always look at the Air District as a great, solid partner. Another good example of our partnership is they provided funding for over 100 hybrid electric trucks operated by Coca-Cola. So they switched from pure diesel to hybrid electric, and those buses now are serving all different communities throughout the South Coast Air Basin, and that wouldn't have happened without funding from the South Coast Air District.
I'd like to ask you about the goods movement sector. It's a topic that comes up regularly with our guests on our show, and we're looking at new technologies for that sector. We want it to grow and to grow green. What do you see in the near term as some of the technologies with the greatest promise of allowing for transforming the goods movement sector to being a green goods movement sector?
I think the South Coast Air Basin really plays a huge role in the nation's goods movement industry, with 40% of the container traffic coming through our ports, and then going out to the rest of the nation. We play a huge role, and we have a big burden as a result, a lot of harmful emissions. I'm really pretty excited about what I see for cleaner trucks moving ahead. I think natural gas is emerging as a very cost-effective alternative fuel. There are ways to make renewable natural gas from biological material, and that's being tested and demonstrated. Waste Management is one company that's taking renewable gas, methane, from landfills, and they're powering their trucks now on that. I see hybrid technology emerging. I see electric technology emerging, and even some fuel cell hybrid technology as possibilities. So I think there's a good chance to green the goods movement industry, and we are working with the South Coast on a number of initiatives in that front.
What if you could share with us sort of your vision for the near-term future in terms of where CALSTART sees your immediate priorities, whether it be on the passenger vehicle or the commercial market or the goods movement market, and any particular themes that you would like companies, especially those manufacturing green products, to know about how to approach this industry and working with CALSTART to get there?
Well, I think one of the things we've shared, our organization, with the Air District is that we both believe there are many paths to the future, and there's not one clear technology that's yet proven that it'll be the winner. So we have to continue to try a bunch of different approaches, but we are getting to a point where we really need to try to significantly reduce emissions here. And one of our key priorities is, getting back to your previous question, is really to try to green the goods movement industry. And there's a specific joint effort that I'd like to just mention between CALSTART and the Air District, and that's focused on the I-710 corridor between the ports of LA and Long Beach and the rail yards in East LA. That 18 to 20 mile stretch of highway is known as the diesel death zone. And for the Air District to meet federal air quality standards, they can't really allow additional emissions from that corridor. Yet, the ports, which we want to remain robust and strong, need additional capacity because they've got more ships coming in. So what we are actively exploring with the Air District support and also with LA Metro is the possibility of adding truck lanes, additional truck lanes, truck-only lanes, that would be available for only zero-emission trucks. So this is something that we think on our preliminary study is technically feasible. The economics have to be worked out to see if we can produce trucks that are economically viable. I'm optimistic that we'll get there. I think funding from the Air District moving ahead will be critical to test out some of those programs. But that's one of our key priorities moving ahead. We're also going to continue to work on even more reliable, more durable, and lower cost zero-emission bus technologies with the Air District. And then also, I think this is now a huge moment of opportunity for the consumer movement. We now have electric vehicles, fuel cell vehicles, and plug-in hybrids are coming to the market. We need people, particularly in this area, to open up their pocketbooks and to buy those cars. We need folks to say that improving air quality, cutting our dependence on oil, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions is very important to me and my children and their children, and start buying these vehicles because they're coming to the market. And if we all work together and those markets start to grow, we'll really benefit from an environment that is much cleaner and public health that is much better, kids with less asthma, less cancer, etc. It'll really be a much better picture.
John Boesel, thank you for joining us, for giving an overview of CALSTART, and for providing a fuel-neutral overview of where the industry is and where the opportunities are as we continue to seek to spur along these technologies and help us clean the air that we breathe. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And that's our show. Thank you for watching AQMD on the Air. I'm your host, Lior Alpern. Visit us at cleanairconnections.org to learn how you can help us clean the air that we breathe.
Let's work together.